And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel and welcome to the Dice Tower. Today we're taking a look at a game from Queen Games called Franchise. This is a game in which you are starting up a franchise, a fast food restaurant, a coffee house, a gas station, a laundromat, whatever it is. It's in the 1960s in America and it doesn't really matter what you're running. This is an economic game with no luck. No luck at all in this game. You are simply responding to how the other players move. Trying to open up franchises and score the most points. Here is how it plays. So here we have a giant map here of America with the different cities connected by various roads. At the beginning of the game, you're simply going to place the number here on these spots. So 7 goes into 7. They actually have an advanced method where you can mix them up and the 7s and 8s and put them on the 7 and 8 spots to kind of change up the cities a little bit. But this is kind of the historical view. You also have some tokens here that match to different regions on the board. So you can see here that there are 10 different colored regions. Each player is going to choose a franchise that they are going to own. The franchises are the same except for the colors. So maybe I'll pick the blue one here, take some tokens of my color, and also a whole pile of houses and a pawn of my color. Each player is going to start with one of these out in a small town on the board. So the blue starts here in Boise, the orange in Dodge City, etc. Players will start with some money and then the game begins. So on your turn, the first thing that you do on your turn is you're going to expand. And you're going to expand by starting from one of your franchises on the board and following one of the roads. So here from Boise, I can go up here to Seattle. I can go to Spokane or to Pocatello over here. Or I can go down here to Casper. I can follow these roads. If I follow the dotted road, that is free. If I follow the other roads, that costs 1. And so what we're going to... There's a little chart right here that you can see that shows you the cost. You can see following the big giant pink highways will let you move really far across the board, but it also is a much higher price. So wherever I go, let's say I decide to go here, I simply put my blue marker there. If I had decided to go to Casper, I'd pay my $1 and put my marker in the middle. Then if you have a franchise in a city, so let's say I already had a franchise in Casper, then I can expand each one of those and I pay $1 and just put another franchise in the middle. At the end of my turn, wherever my token is, I'll take that off, put a franchise in starting there and moving down from highest number to lowest number. And if I've added a franchise to a city where I already have one, I just move it out. And more than one player can be in a city if they want to be. Now at the beginning of your turn, you are going to get income based on these income boards that you have, and these income boards are going to change based on the number of players and the highest number of all the cities you're in. So let's say blue starts in these cities here. The highest number I can see here is a 1. The highest number I can see there is a 3. So that's a total of 4. So in a 4-player game, I have a total of 4. So my income at the beginning of my turn is 2. Notice you're always going to get 1. Even if all your cities that you have are 0, you're going to get 1. And when you go to a city for the first time, so the first time I go to LA, that's going to be adding 6. But the more franchises in LA, the amount that it's going to be giving the franchises is going to go down. So players are going to take this income first, then they can expand if they so desire on the board. Then they can grow their franchises in regions if they want to for $1 each. And then they just go to the next player. Now, as time goes by, we're going to start scoring cities. When one player has an absolute majority in a city, which means they have more than half. So let's say here in this 2 blue and 1 red city in Casper, we put another blue. Blue has the majority in this city. So when that happens, blue is going to score the number in the middle city. Blue is going to score 4. Blue will then take out all their houses except 1, leaving it here. And red, being in second place, will just simply leave theirs in Caspar. If it was a bigger one, let's say it was here and red had 2, but blue had 3, then the same thing would happen. Blue would only leave 1. Red would leave both of their houses there in Billings. And so the bigger the city, the more that can be left behind. And that's how many points you will immediately score. If there is no one with an absolute majority, then whoever has the most, with ties broken to who put their franchise there first, then they will simply get half, rounded down, of the points. Also, if you're the person that scored a city here, you'll also put one of your tokens up there at the top, and that just breaks ties when a region is scored. When every single thing in a region is completely finished, so let's say Caspar finished here, and so Billings and Sioux Falls and Fargo and Conrad, everything in a region is done, then that region is going to score. You're then going to count all the franchises in that region, and whoever has the most will get the most victory points. Whoever has second gets that many victory points, and then whoever has any franchise in the region will get this amount of points below. So 8, 5, and then everyone who has at least one there will get 4. And these are different. That's 8, 5, 4. While you notice the one up in the Pacific Northwest is 7, 6, 1. So those are going to change too. When one of these is scored, it's brought down here to the bottom of the board, and whoever is the person who caused the scoring to happen, whether they got enough or not, is going to get the points down here. So that's going to go 3 all the way up to 2. And once someone places one here, at the end of that round, whether one or more gets placed in the red zone, that will signal the end of the game. So that's pretty much the whole game. One last thing, each player has these 3 tokens. They're going to be worth 4 points at the end of the game, but you can use them during the game by discarding them to get $10 if you need to put more than one franchise in a city. You normally can only put one per city per turn, and to expand to more than one city. There's a pink token here to show where you would put your second expansion city. At the end of the game, you're going to take all the points that you got over the course of the game, plus every franchise in a small town, these little small towns dotting the region, they're worth an extra point too, plus points for unused tokens here. Whoever has the most points is the winner. When I first saw the board in the back of the box, I thought it was kind of ugly, but I actually am growing to like these roads that are zooming across. And it's really interesting as you look at them, because you can get here from Phoenix all the way to Chicago. That's going to cost you 8 though. But some of these pink roads are a little shorter, maybe from LA to Denver. But add this interconnected route thing is kind of fascinating. Also, which areas there are on the board. Now, these franchise tokens, they're okay. They're just, your typical houses. I really do like the artwork, here, these franchises. I think they just look really cool. And then they also tell you all the different possibilities you can do in your turn. The money itself in this game is card money, which makes me happy because it's going to be utilized a lot. So there's not a whole lot of pieces in the game. When I first saw it, I said, wow, there's just not a lot of pieces here, but there's still a lot of options and things to do. I like the components. That's pretty cool, I think, on how this game works. And I have to say, when I hear that there's no luck in a game, I'm a little wary of that game, right? There's no luck. Shouldn't there be like a little bit of luck? But this one is really fascinating how it works, and it's going to change based on the number of players. By the way, that variable setup where you can change the cities, and you can also even change how regions score. I call that pseudo randomness because it randomly will change the game, but it's not that big of a deal. You'd have to play it dozens and dozens of times before you noticed you should always go from Chicago to whatever. But this game is tricky. Here's the deal. Cities are going to finish. They're going to be scored, and you're going to be scoring regions. If you are not cautious in this game, you can literally run into a situation where you cannot move. So you have to make sure that you always leave yourself, as you're expanding around the board, that you can expand into other cities. And make sure that you get across the board if possible, because you could get stuck on the East Coast, you get stuck on the West Coast, you get stuck in Texas, what have you. You could be stuck in these areas if you concentrate on one area too much. And there's some interesting first and second place dynamics going on. So if you and me are fighting over a city, and I'm first in that city, I score the city, but then I leave maybe 3 of your houses there and 1 of mine. So now you're going to win the region. That region might be a few more points in that city, or maybe the city's a few more points. So there's this kind of interesting dynamic. And also, the more franchises I put out in a city, the less money I'm going to get. So at the beginning of the game, if I have a franchise in a city and no one else seems like they're going there anytime soon, maybe I won't add more franchises, force everyone to go to that one. It's the economic system of this game is the money's real tight, and then you got those 3 tokens that are like, use us. Do you need more cash? Here's 10 free dollars. You know, when you get only $1 to $3, $4 a turn, $10 is a lot. Or being able to expand twice, sometimes you're like, I need to get this done right now, or I need to move out, you know, across the board. And then those big highways that cost 8, that's really pricey. But when's the time to do it? Very in your face, very back and forth, but turns are pretty quick. It's get your money, expand, add more franchise to cities you're already in. Next person, and possible scoring. Next person's turn. Boom, 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 boom. I really liked it. It was entertaining. It was interesting. Sitting there, I'm always interested in how other people are moving across. You want to make sure one person doesn't corner the area. Very aggressive back and forth, but you're not like blowing each other's franchises up. It's interaction, but it's not, you know, you're not really attacking the other players. You're just fighting for area control. And I thought it was very well done. I like the theme, but the theme isn't really strong. I don't feel like I'm running a hamburger stand or a laundromat or, you know, a car mechanic franchise. It's just a franchise. Who cares what it is? But the theme doesn't hurt. The pictures help a little bit. And I kind of like that map with those roads going all different directions and go, all right, I want to do this. It felt very similar to me at parts of one of my favorite games, Power Grid. At Power Grid, you are following different paths of power and, you know, powering up USA or Germany or whatever. This has a similar feel to that, but it's kind of the whole game here. This is a game that's nice and streamlined. It only has a few things that are going on, but you know what they are, and they feel deeper and more interesting than they might be when you first take a look at the game. I was very surprised at this one. I went in hoping to enjoy the theme, came out going, I guess the theme wasn't that big of a deal, but the gameplay, I liked it. Dice Tower Judgment approved.